Does that sound familiar? Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Kerrnel Does Feed the Beast. We are playing the Unleashed mod pack on the Trek Ultimate Unleashed server. Welcome. So this is the new spawn area. It is still not complete. However, they've put a lot of work into this over the last few days. So we'll just finally do a little bit of a tour of the server. And we're not going to tour any specific bases. We're just going to do a quick little spin around spawn so you can see spawn area. And this is when you go to spawn, this is the direction you face. I'm sure that will change at some point once we get new information screens and things in for new players coming in. And we actually have not moved to the new host yet. That keeps getting pushed out by the host provider. However, we seem to have identified several lag issues that have been more or less taken care of. We still have some latency issues between the server and most of the folks on in the US, but so that should be addressed by the server move. But I have actually, thankfully, with Trec's help, gone into some of the config files, and I guess there's something. I guess in the IC2 config file, you can turn down the sound. I noticed that when I turn the sound off, that my frame rate actually increases pretty well. So I went and turned down the number of sound generating devices to 10 from 32, and that seems to have helped greatly. I have been hovering probably around 30 frames per second when I was at spawn before, and now I'm up around 55, 60. So very happy with the results of that. So thank you, Trec. And so let's get this going. I do want to continue with some of the village stuff today, but here is spawn for now. So if you recall, on the previous server we had, I think, Bluetricity or Factorization or something that had an actual moving windmill, which we don't have on this server, but we do have a windmill, so this is very nice. These blocks here are made from a block called the Woodworker, and I'll try and quickly go through, I mean, not in any depth, but just kind of quickly run through the process to get to this, what the Woodworker needs. We'll quickly go through that when we get to our base and do a quick little tour there. But you can make some really unique designs with this, so it's pretty cool. You got the 4 pillars here, looking very nice. We've still got some things that need to be built, and that's what these pillars are for. So let's get a bird's eye view. Got a little Dutch wheat field, or I guess this is a barley field. And pathway's been being built. Looking good. There's a lot actually changed since I was last here yesterday. We've got a little cake shop. There's no cakes in it yet. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. And we're coming over to our nether portal. I actually had to edit this in because when I recorded it initially, this looked a lot different. So in the last couple of days, they made an update to it. So we've got the TU for Trek Unleashed, or Trek Ultimate. So this looks pretty cool. This is Great Order that did this, so great job on that. And we're gonna cut back to the original recording. So Malection was the one that did the walls here. This looks amazing. And so this is Spawn Town, and we're getting a barn here. Not sure what's going to go in here. This may be a blacksmith shop. This may be an actual farm. I don't know. So some things are happening. It's taken a little bit. I know people have been busy through the summer, so hopefully we can get that going. the early stages. Oh, this is the music. Okay. And we got food for folks coming in. Very nice. Very nice. And then we've got over here, Malection actually built an experiment, a housing experiment, if I can find it. It's over here somewhere. Maybe be this way. I bookmarked a few people's places because they looked impressive. Or not bookmarked, but put some waypoints down. But we will not do that today. You know what? I'm probably not going to find this thing. Oh. Nope. 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 Not going to find it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. So anyway, that was spawn. So let me head back to our base and give you a quick tour of our base. You know what? I've got commands turned off. So I'm just going to fall out of the sky and transition. How's that for some cinematography? So that tree there is our spawn tree. Not spawn tree, spawner tree. Where we have, I think we got a tier 5 wither skeleton shard in there. So that's where we go to get our wither skeleton heads, which we haven't done lately. It's out of the way, so it's not kind of kept loaded by the base. And nor do we need it to be, but it kind of lent itself to it. The ring around it was to prevent the spawner from spawning mobs outside the tree, so that isn't possible now. And well, I guess, well, no, I'm not going to show that. I mean, there's really not a lot to it, to be honest. It's just your standard tier 5 drop spawner. So they drop down 20 blocks and you punch them, they die, they give you their stuff, good to go. We do not use that for experience. For that, we use the experience shower, which you probably or hopefully saw in episode number 1. Very proud of that design. Oops. So we are on top of whatever this thing is called. This is the portal to... I'm spacing out on the name of it. Promised Land. Good lord. I kept wanting to say Land of Plenty, but that makes absolutely no sense. So yes, this is our portal to the Promised Land above our base, and this is a bird's eye view of the base. So again, we have our spawner over there. We have our blacksmith shop down here. We'll give you a closer look at that. That's where we do most of the Tinker's Construct stuff. What else? There is Sherman the Squid, our squid farm, which you saw in a previous episode. Episode number... That might have been episode number 1, too. I don't know. I can't remember. But I do know I did it in a previous episode. So check it out. Basically, it's an ink farm, but we made it look nice. This is our multi-farm. I'm not sure if you've actually seen it completed. The last time I think I showed this on video, there was only 2 levels made, and so we put a top level on, and we'll take a flyby there. We have our berry farm right there, which we did in episode 2. And we have my tree, which I claimed. And I kind of feel guilty about that because Garrix doesn't really have a place that, well, I guess he does most of his hanging out in the blacksmith shop, but I feel bad that I took both trees. So I apologize, Garrix. Never really thought of it until now. But this tree here, maybe we'll make this into a cozy little shack with you know, some balconies and make it a little homier, couple two-level apartment or something like that, so that we can share the tree and do stuff like that. But it does have a basement that goes into the berry farm as well as the ore berry farm and the maintenance tunnel that gets back into the main part of the base. And this over here is our bee area and our tree breeding area. We haven't really done a lot with the bees. It is more or less right now just tree breeding, but I believe we are almost complete with not necessarily all the trees, but all the trees that we care about at this point. So we will be at some point switching over to bee breeding, and we will be doing that underneath that area. Over here is the village, and you saw in the previous in the previous video, we started building the roadway into the village and kind of fixing up the village a little bit, and we're gonna try and finish some of that today. Not too much, but maybe chop down the little hill here and put a tree-lined path. And what else we got here? That's about it. We have our rotunda, which is the main part of the base, and we're going to have some arched spires coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to connect this tree to that tree through some area up here. So we still have a lot of interesting plans for this area, and I keep leaving this up here. I really should take this down. We did this kind of Trek put himself in a little bit of a boat here, and we had a little fun with that, but we never took it down, so maybe we'll get to that at some point. Not really focused on it right now. And I think I've pointed these guys out, so we moved them from over there over here, put some ice in, make them feel a little more at home. So that is, you know, kind of the quick view of the base. We have our little hot spring area in there. I don't even know if I've been in there on video. So basically this is where we do our bow chicka wow. Yeah. Not Garrix and I. The ladies. So this is the blacksmith shop, and this is where we build our weapons. And you saw in the last video some of the Tinker's construct stuff with the axes and the hammers. So that's pretty much this setup. Got the Darkcraft thing in here. Not really a big fan of Darkcraft, but started playing around with it a bit. Obviously haven't got too far with that. And I'm not going to show this because this is a project that Garrick's working on and I don't want to spoil anything. But he is building some smelter automation. This is the main smelter that we use. And that's, you know, that's the blacksmith shop, aside from the basement. We've been building these roads and trying to decorate a little bit. This is a beech tree, a common beech tree. Looking very nice there. The multi-farm. So, oh, you know what? I think we're out of dirt. I'm gonna have to go farming for dirt. Nuts. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. I will create a Mistcraft Age with a dirt block, and that should help me out greatly. So this is the multi-farm. We got 3 levels. We did actually start farming actual farm things, but we found we weren't using them, so there wasn't really a point to continuing to farm them. So we swapped the middle layer out for, I think these are spruce trees. And the reason we did the spruce is because we need those for the woodworker. And I will show you that in a few minutes. And so the bottom level is just apple, I'm sorry, no they're not. What are these? Nope, not red. Are they red spruce? No, they can't be red spruce. Silver. How do we get that many red spruce? Oh, that's because of the spruce trees. The silver lime saplings. These are the ones that produce a little more apples, and they produce a lot more saplings. So we use this to fuel our boilers for the biofuel. So that is what that is for. Middle level was for the woodworker, and we were finding that we weren't keeping up with the apples with the squeezers and fermenters for making the biofuel. So we were able to breed papaya trees. And we're too far away. Still too far? No. Papayas. And papayas give you, I believe, the most bang for your buck when you send them to the squeezer into a fermenter. So they give you a lot more fruit juice. A lot more than the apple. So we started breeding these. Put some grass up here to make it look nice. And this is basically an orchard. And the orchard will harvest the papayas. So very happy with that. I don't know if I showed you any of this, but if you go back to the Trek Ultimate server episodes that I had, so season 1, this farm probably looks very familiar. I like the design. I think it looks nice. It's impactful and kind of iconic. I take it with me. So that's why I lost my train of thought. But basically, this is the orchard, and this is how we got it set up. Fertilizer comes in, so we've got an input and we've got an output from the AE system. We're exporting just the fertilizer for the orchard. We got power coming in, and we have water coming from an aqueous accumulator at the bottom, which shares it between the 3 different farms. And we got 3 different levels. And this is the access way down the bottom. Right. So now we're underneath, and if we go this way, that way is the bottom of the tree. And you will recall from a couple episodes ago, the Orberry farm is over that way. And over here is the bee processing facility. And over here is the woodworker area. That stuff there is for bees as well. We make some of the impregnated frames over here, and we manually right now put the honeycombs through the centrifuge, and that goes in to make liquid honey. But we don't have that automated. We do have this automated, but we already have enough impregnated sticks in inventory that we're not processing anymore right now. We are using creosote oil. We're not using seed oil, so it saves us on farm. And because we're using the spruce wood for the woodworker, all of the logs we are sending into cocoa ovens to produce creosote. So we are reusing and maximizing efficiency where possible. So the spruce logs we are also sending into squeezer. And the squeezer will produce resin from the spruce wood. The resin goes into a still and it creates turpentine, which we store here, which goes into a carpenter, and you feed it beeswax and you get out wood polish, and the wood polish you put into the woodworker table, and you put the wood polish in, and you have 2 different kinds of wood. Doesn't matter which kinds, and it will create whatever pattern you want. It doesn't need power, so all you need is the wood polish and 2 different kinds of wood, and you can do these patterns. Piece them together, do all sorts of cool stuff. So that's the woodworker. Very quick. You've already seen everything over that way. Over here, that's the multi-farm. We were messing around with the drawbridge blocks, And I think I might actually take this out because it's become annoying when I want to get back and forth. And this leads to the main part of the base. And basically, I guess I need a pick, not a stone bowl. So, pressure plates trigger a red net cable underneath that feeds into the red net controller, and we got a 2-OR input, or a 2-OR gate, and then we invert the signal, and that will do the pistons. So right now the signal is inverted, so the pistons are engaged, and then we are not the piston. These are actual drawbridge blocks. So you can camouflage the drawbridge blocks with a block. So this is what they look like. And actually, you know what? Okay, so that's what they look like. And you need, so for every block that you want to be in front of the drawbridge, you put 1 plus that number of blocks. So because this is a 2 wide hallway, we put 3 blocks in. So 1 plus 2 wide, 3. And then whatever you want to camouflage at. So if I wanted to camouflage as rough brownstone, it's not rough brownstone. So very cool. And let me sew that up. And you can hear our DJ system working very nicely. So down here is where we do our processing for all of our ores and some automation. We have redstone cells and conduit that we make through liquid transposer. We have magma crucible making liquid redstone, feeding it into the redstone conduit, or I'm sorry, the liquid transposer, and we have recipes for the conduit and the cells. And we have a similar setup for ender pearls going into tesseracts so that we can make liquid, energy tesseracts, liquid tesseracts, or item tesseracts, all of which we're using. And these work tables are there to basically craft the berries that we get from the berry bushes into ingots. So the berries get smelted, they produce nuggets, and then we combine the nuggets into ingots. So we got our mass fabricator, got a recycler, we have an extractor, bunch of induction furnaces. I think this is a macerator? No, compressor and a macerator. All of which have upgrades as well as overclockers. So it processes it pretty quick. Not that we need it too quick because we're not processing a lot. Worked on this utility area where we have our board. So we've got sort of tools and things up here. We've got our armor stands, and these are for our gravis suits, gravis chest plates. We have a black hole, which we haven't used. I've tried it once. Some miscellaneous stuff. So nice little utility room. We don't really use these much. Nobody really uses them. The only one I think on the server that is actively doing anything with them is Raciper. So this up here is a trade station, not to be confused with the Tradomat. Tradomat actually causes the server to crash, so it's been disabled, I think. So this is a trade station. These are all forestry blocks, and then these are mailboxes. Top one is Garrick's, bottom was mine. They're locked. You don't see it because I have the chat turned off. And this here is how you can tell who has what for trade. And so this is a mail order catalog, which you can craft. And so you can see that Rasper is trading 8 propolis for every quartz that you send him. And he's got a few other trades set up. and we are looking for uranium. And those are the excuse me, those are the only trades that are available. So, what else? Butterflies. Thank you. Nice segue. Yeah. So there aren't any blocks. There's nothing like you have for bees or trees. So we're just kind of putting them in item frames. And this is Garrick's collection room. So these are the butterflies we have. I have no idea what they're supposed to do with them, but there they are. We're getting quite a big collection. What else? So because our base is open, mobs sometimes walk down here. So if we AFK and we don't remember to AFK, we just lock ourselves in. This used to be the AFK room, but I renamed it to the panic room. So you just go in here and let it close. Go to the restroom, do whatever you need to do, come back, and away you go. Pretty cool. This is our assembly table. And this is kind of one-off stuff. I don't know what this block is. Every time I run by it, I think I'm going to look it up, but I have no idea what to look up. I need to ask Eric what that is. So we've got a carpenter, just in case, with water in it. We have a furnace. We have a thermionic fabricator. And we have a rolling table. So, you know, anything we need one-off that isn't automated, we just kind of use those. So this is the AE system. Really not much that we can say about that we haven't already said in the past. So we come down here. I'll come back to this in a minute on the way back up. Up here, so that's the hallway back to the other area. Down here is Sherman's aquarium, which I showcased in a previous episode. Down here are our boilers and our ovens. These ovens here are actually automated so that we have 600 steel on hand, and right now we don't have 600. We actually have 600 steel, so they're off. This one is for the oak wood. That must be from the tree farm. We're using that for creosote, and we have way too much creosote, so that's stopped. So the hard boilers are using charcoal and blaze rods, and they oh, blaze rods. I think I forgot to turn the farm back on. No, we're good. 290,000. So the hard boilers are using. They're generating MJ. And we have a liquid boiler, and that's generating the EU for the base, in addition to some solar panels that we have up top. This here is our deep storage area. Right now we've only got 4 of them, and we're storing our blaze rods, our charcoal, our oak wood, and our papayas. Nice little area. These are force bricks, and this is one of the only good things that came out of Darkcraft, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of that mod, but these force bricks have a very high blast tolerance. So it probably doesn't help that I've actually got these in the wall, to be honest, now that I think of it. But if a creeper were, let's say, to stand out here and blow the stuff up, they're safe. This down here, these 2 blocks here, yeah, you guessed it, drawbridge blocks. So we put out some iron bars, got a little blocked off. Kind of went for a bank feel, but I don't think I managed to do that. Hopefully it feels like a deep storage area. So down here is our mob spawners. So we've got 4 auto spawners, and we have 4 tier 5 spawners. We've actually only got 3 tier 5 shards in there. 4th one is empty at the moment. We've got grinders in the pit that we can turn off and on. So if we wanted to work on a tier 5 shard, we could put the mobs in one or two of these, set it to go, you know, put them in with maybe 5 hit points or something like that. Turn them on, and then they'll drop down, and we can just kill them in the pit, not have to worry about anything. And then when we're done, we could just turn them off and turn the grinders back on, and be good to go. So this is the under part of the boilers, and this is our processing facility for the biofuel. So I think these are the fermenters. So the squeezers are down below, coming up to the fermenters, going into the stills, and producing the lovely, lovely ethanol. This is not a max size tank. I don't think we really need a max size tank, so we're happy with the way it is. You know, you don't really use a lot of power with Unleashed. With Ultimate, you had to do all the machines to get anything done. So we don't need the power, to be honest. So we don't need a max size tank. I mean, if you saw the display on the AE system, you know, we've got 3,000 UU matter. I mean, we'll probably never use that. The only thing we're really hurting for is uranium, and that's only because we need that to make the ultimate solar panels. But even if we made the solar panels, what are we going to use the power for? I mean, we've pretty much got all of the machine blocks that we need in the game. So really now it's about being creative and just doing adventure stuff. So this is the spawn control, and all of these are on the same cable running all the way up to the top, and they're controlling all of the spawners. We'll probably have to put a redneck controller in here to invert the signal, because when the server reboots, some of the intended behavior of the rednet is actually to reset itself to 0 signal, and this gets ignored. So basically, if these are off, or if these are actually on, to be honest, because these are the 4 tier 5s. So you need to have a redstone signal to stop them from spawning. So these 4 are actually on. Sorry, these 3 are on. This one's off. So when the server resets, this is off, so are these 3, which means we're going to be spawning everything. So we need to put a redneck controller in to invert the signal so that we don't, at least for these 4, so that we don't have mobs spawning that we don't want to have spawning. It's not going to be a big deal because it's not going to cause server lag because we have the grinders going, so the mobs will get killed anyway. Those aren't impacted by that. So we run down the bottom here. This is our access way to the bowl so that we can kill the mobs. We've got a little access way over there to see the same thing that we're going to see in a second. This is the mob juice from the grinders. This is a max size tank. And so these are the squeezers. And these are the grinders sending the mob juice down, and this is the item way going into the AE system. I think we filter some of the items out. And we filter out the glass bottles and spider eyes because we don't need them at the moment. One of the projects I'm working on, we may actually need the spider eyes, but I'll reveal that later. So that is our mob system and our power system. And we go up, and the last room in the base is our XP shower. You remember the shower scene from episode 1? Shower me with experience. So this is the shower, and so we've kind of built the room around it. So this is our anvil, and we've automated the enchanting of books. So we've got a bunch of books here, and we can grab whatever we need, and either apply them to armor or swords or whatever. We don't use it a lot because we have the Tinker's Construct weapons, but it was a really cool project to do. Enchanting table, which we don't really use a lot. So this is kind of the back inner workings. So this is power from solar panels. We've got 4 ultimate hybrids and we've got 8 hybrids, and then we're all coming down into powering the mob system, which is down below. They're also powering this stuff here. So we remember this from the experience shower, and this part here we added to 3 auto enchanters, and these are what we use to enchant the books, and they go into a separate AE system that is powered from this thing, which is a power relay. So the 2 systems are completely separate, but this system is actually powered from the other system. Kind of neat setup. That's why we're going to need the spider eyes. I'm trying to build a potion system. So that is the enchanting and experience section. A little bit of a demo. See if I can get myself to 100. No, it'll take forever. I got too many levels. So now we're into our Mistcraft area, and this is one of the most recent builds that we did. So there's a bug with Mistcraft that when the server resets, all of the descriptive books that are on linking book stands or on lecterns or any that you hold in your hand are corrupted and they crash the client. So what we discovered was that if you use a book receptacle, you can still use those worlds. Now, there were some problems with the server, and Trec actually deleted most of the worlds, so we had to start creating new ones. But these work. Any linking books that you have actually still work too, so that's kind of cool. I'll go through this in a minute. So this one is actually an old school piston driven little bookcase slider access way thing. So you can see these are sticky pistons. So we're not using the drawbridge blocks there. Kind of a neat entryway. And Garrix has been working on some of the magic stuff. So those are the arcane pressure plates, and we can configure those. So this is the Mistcraft area. Not much to it other than this. We're gonna have to redo all of these books because none of them work anymore. But we've got our our ink mixer and our table with a bunch of pages, and we've got our bookbinder. So kind of a nice little room. I'm happy with how that turned out. And through here is our magic base. So we built this away from the base, and Garrix has been doing some work over here. I know next to nothing about magic, so this is all his. This AE system is actually attached to the AE system back at our base using logistics pipes, and hopefully I'll be able to get Garrix to sit down with us one day and kind of go through how that was set up, because I'm sure people want to know. We've got an AFK room here because we have an open door, and we've got some golems which are still here, which is good to see. So this is our magic area. Kind of cool. Alright, so we're back at the base. So that's pretty much our tour. It took a little longer, I think, than I had planned. So I am not going to do the village stuff this episode. I will do that next episode. We've tried to learn as much as we can about a lot of the things that we've done. So if something caught your eye and if you think it might help you out, we'd be happy to try and answer any questions you have to see if you can improve your bass. So, anyway, take care, everybody, and hopefully we will see you again next episode. Please leave a comment. Take care.